Good evening, Internet, your health. And tonight we engage God mode as we take a look at Cream era Eric Clapton. And this is a nice sort of contrast with when we did Blues Breakers era last year. You can see how his playing's moved on a little bit. But we're still focusing mainly on pentatonics. So we'll kick off with the first lick. I should say as well, all these licks are tabbed out in this month's blog post. I'll put a link to that in the blurb below. So I won't be explaining every little bit of fingering because otherwise it'll take forever. Go and check out the tabs there. So first lick, we're in G minor pentatonic. This is taken from the Cream cover of Born Under a Bad Sign by Albert King. We're up at the 15th fret. Tried and true minor pentatonic shape 1. And here we go. So what's going on here then? So there, interesting little quirk rather than he's going straight from 17th fret bent straight up to the root note on the high E, and then hitting the flat 7 bend into the root. It's a major league vibrato there, and that's our tension and release idea as we talked about last month with Jimmy Page. And then we're causing to build up the tension. There's our long held note, pull the spring back, and then we let it go with this little rundown. So bending 17th fret G, 15th fret bar across the 15th fret B and E strings, pull off 18 to 15 and down to 17 fret G. Oh look, it's our magic 3 notes and their friend. Students of mine will recognise that and get the joke. If you don't, buy one of my books. And we're going to finish it off by going 15, hammer to 17, pull back 15 on the G, and finishing off on the root note there, 17th fret on the D string. So here it is fast. And here it's slowed down. You'll notice I'm not quite using one finger, one fret technique for some of this as well. That's because I don't always find that to be always the best approach. For example, here, rather than use the third finger both, I actually find it easy to bring the middle finger into that D string note. And what that tends to leave is if I have any kind of perfect fourth intervals that would require a awkward finger roll, I can just cheat. And there we go. We're not working hard, we're working smart. Right, moving on to Crossroads, we're in A, and this is from the intro. And again, we're largely A minor pentatonic, but look at a couple of little quirks. So here, he starts off with a similar phrase as to, which we've all started off a million times, but he's using a hammer-on, hammering from the 5th fret, which is the minor third, to the 6th fret, which is the major third. Why? Basically, strings were heavier back then. So a hammer-on was easier to do than a bend. And so players' styles were often influenced by the equipment that they had to hand. It's why you don't see bending in a lot of jazz guitar players, for example. They're using heavy round strings. And then, oh look, magic 3 notes. Now here, there is a little bit of an awkward finger roll. Getting from that 5th fret B to 5th fret G. Again, licks all tabbed out, so you'll be able to see that. So you need a little be aware of how to get that finger roll. Obviously everybody's technique will vary, everybody's thumb position will need to vary, but basically you're just shifting the weight of that first finger, rolling over from the B to the G. The interesting bit is at the end where he does, and he hammers from G into G sharp and then to E. He does this because the lick has just gone to the 5 chord, and of course in the key of A the 5 chord is an E, so we get that ambiguity between minor and major that is right at the heart of blues. Okay, we're going to stay with Cream, and we're going to stay with Crossroads rather, for the next bit, which is up at the 17th fret. And this is the bit where he's just foot the floor, just absolutely burning on it. So, what do we have here then? 3 magic notes. I told you, everybody uses them. So what we've got here, this is triplets, and he plays 4 of them. That's your spring being pulled back, and then we let go of the spring and resolve the tension with a run down. So bending up the 20th fret B, 17th fret E, 20 to 17 on the B, bend the 19th and back to the 17th, pull off 19 to 7 down to 19 on the D, quarter tone bend on the 17th fret, so that's taking me in between major and minor, pull off 19 to 17 on the D and down to 19 on the A. Now that is the 5th, that's an E note. And you can hear there that rather than the phrase is complete, we're landed on the root, and that's all, folks. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. So the 5th kind of leads you into the next phrase. And again, this is very much influenced, I think, by the Albert King lick. Of course, big influence. Next up then, to finish this off, we're going to go take a trip up to D minor pentatonic, which we're going to actually enhance by the use of the D minor arpeggio shaped box. There's a D minor arpeggio octave up from the open. And an awful lot of Chicago blues playing tends to be based around that lick. So here's the lick, and I'll switch over to neck pickup for authenticity. So, what I'm doing here then, I might play that properly actually without mistakes. Let me have another try at that. And you got quite an interesting approach here. Double stops were a bigger part of his style than we maybe think of them. So he's barring little 2 string bars across the 10th fret, and then hammering the lower string, in this case the A string, from the 10th to the 12th. So here I've got the D and the A string at the 10th fret, hammer the A string onto the 12th, do that twice, and I'm going to repeat that idea up here on the D and the G strings, and then playing through that slowly. So that's kind of a lead-in phrase before we do our position shift. So that's hammering 13 into 15 on the D, and I've got a slide down 14 to 12 on the G. And then leap up again. And here we're actually tackling a little bit, technically we could call this mixolydian, or just a little touch of major pentatonic, bending the root up to the 2nd, and then back to flat 7, and then back to the root again. So here it is. And if you really want to get the Clapton woman tone, which he was famous for at the time, he was using an SG for a lot of the cream stuff, with tended to have the tone controls wound right down. It's actually quite a challenge to get a nice clear sound with that, and to play the faster stuff. So, but it's a very unique sound. It's very identifiable. Right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. This is YouTube, so I'm sure you know the drill. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. If you haven't, maybe think about dropping a comment and saying what I could do better. But other than that, well, I'll see you all next month for a bit more Hendrix. Alright. Take care, Internet. See you soon.